The Imperium has been torn asunder. The Warmaster Horus and a full half of the Space Marine legions have turned against the light of the Emperor, and who knows how many ordinary men have also fallen to the taint of chaos. Including my hairdresser Perkins, blast the man. However shall I save my glorious bonnet now?
Cheer up, sir. There's a detachment of red armoured marines on the horizon.
Oh no! Reinforcements from the Word Bearers! Save yourselves!
No, sir. It's the 9th Legion. It's the Blood Angels.
The Blood Angels? We're saved! Huzzah!
Yeah, I know. It'll be hard for the traitors to attack now with support from the Angels.
Never mind that, Private. The 9th Legion can't possibly look so angelic without a well-equipped tonsorium. My hairdo is saved!
So here we go, guys, the big box full of tiny miniatures, Legions Imperialis, the Horus Heresy. I'm setting out to paint this whole box this week, but before I go wild with my snips and glue, a quick perusal of the rules is in order. This way I can tell my lascannons from my plasma annihilators and try to think about the best way to kit out each squad. Right, boring nerd stuff out the way, let's get to some snipping. I'm going to be getting all the infantry off their sprues and sticking them to these lolly sticks. Let's just get in a little closer, as these guys are truly minuscule. With minimal cleanup and a little bit of super glue applied to the lolly stick, we can plonk our teeny squads on there. Little legionaries on lolly stick landscapes.
Update on progress. I severely underestimated how many models there are in here because of all the Solar Auxiliars stuff. Yeah, we're making good progress. All the infantry, except the Ogrins, is built. Looking like getting all these painted this week is hopeful, but I've still got a couple of days. Well, we're on Thursday evening, so let's see what we can do.
Now, building is far from finished, so working my way through them, including on my Tuesday livestream, be there for my 5k celebrations this week, folks, we can get all these little guys ready. Oh, and I dropped one, and I assumed he'd been eaten by the dog, or was in some other way lost forever, but here he is, safe and sound. Now get into the dangerous battle, you deserter. Yet more building, and Meg even built a tiny titan.
How's your tiny titan going?
I have actually no idea which bit I'm building. Don't understand how this works.
You'll get there.
I'll get there.
Progress report. So it's Saturday morning. I've finally managed to get everything built. So now it's time to actually begin painting, and today's going to be a pretty intense day because I need to paint everything and then edit the video. So we'll see how that goes. Wish me luck.
On to painting, and the airbrush is a must here. I'm fresh out of plastic gloves, so I'm hoping my lolly sticks will act as good holders, and on the bright side, I end up with some free nail varnish, so big win. If you don't have a well-ventilated room, please wear a mask. I feel comfortable without it, as well as taking regular breaks, but again, do so at your own risk. Alright, let's get some colour down. Mahogany is up first for the Space Marine side, and of course, it's going to be my beloved Blood Angels. Trying to paint them in the box, but in the end, I need to pick them up, adding to my fancy nails. With the base tone set, next up is some Vallejo Carmine Red. This is going to be applied over just about everything, just leaving the mahogany in the deepest shadows. And then we're going to do a similar thing with Vallejo Vermilion, but mostly from the top down. Though on the bigger tanks and dreadnoughts, we're going to get all the main panels with a little spritz. Over to the brush, and once again, the big tripod is far too big for tiny minis. Switch over to tiny tripod, much better. We're going to get some gunmetal on the bayonets and various other weaponry. Some black for bolters and bits like cloth and the banner. And then gold for things like the top of the banner pole. Now I also decided to try painting eyes. Yes, on 32mm scale minis, eyes are hard. On these, it's basically just impressionism. At this tiny scale, unless you're Darren Latham, hi Darren by the way, you can't be neat enough to get it perfect first time. So paint white into the sockets as best you can. I often found both eyes would just blend into one another, but don't worry, this isn't a problem because next we're grabbing some vermilion and going over in a straight line between the eyes to separate them, and then cutting back on any other parts where it looks a bit weird. Now, secret weapon for eye lenses at this scale is going to be fluorescent green from AK Interactive, which needs to go over the white to really register. This is going to give a little dot of colour to highlight the faces. Shade the whole model with Agrek's Earthshade, and if anyone hasn't yet seen epic scale Marines, here's a stern guard for reference. So tiny, so small. As for the vehicles, these got some panel lining with Agrek's Earthshade rather than an all-over shade. It's just going to help because they've got some big flat panels to make sure that we don't end up with too much Agraks all over those. Some cheeky pajama painting here, guys. Calm yourselves. No time for sleep, there's many, many squads to paint up.
Okay, so day 2 of painting, and we're starting from base painted, and then the black is painted on all the models. So we're next going to come in with some silver, and then we'll get some shades on them.
Terminators are a little interesting as they also have some fun little cloth parts, so these were painted black and dry brushed with a neutral grey, which looks great on minis this tiny. I also came in and did this on some of the bolters as well. There's a couple of special details that appear on a few of the squads. First up, plasma. Paint white over the coils. Then light blue and a darker fluo blue watered down into the recesses. For las cannons, it's a similar process, but with fluo orange and then carmine red. To start getting them onto their bases, there's some lovely scenic bases included in the box. These get primed black and then coated with light grey, though under the airbrush they seem to want to fly off of their own accord. Each of the tiny marines was then snapped off of the lolly sticks and glued on with a tiny blob of superglue applied with a cocktail stick. Now I think you probably can cut off the bits around their feet, but I wasn't sure about their structural rigidity, so instead I put blobs of Vallejo earth texture around their feet and sporadically across the base. Some neutral grey to cover up most of the earth texture, and some Agrek's Earthshade for colour variation. Rim the base black and we've got our company of Legions Imperialis Blood Angels. Now, because of the time that it took me to do this little company, I realised that I didn't paint up the Solar Auxilia or the Titans, and I completely underestimated how long it was going to take. I thought because these were such tiny models that it would only take a moment to get a couple of layers of paint down, but how wrong I was. That means that you can look forward to seeing some Solar Auxilia and some Titan Legions being painted up in the next couple of weeks. Thanks so much for watching. My name has been Ollie. This has been my hobby, and I'll see you next time.
With my haircut back to normal, I can get back to the important matters of paperwork. And speaking of which, I've just received a dispatch that a company of Solar Auxilia are on their way to reinforce our position. Things really are looking up. What's that? No! How's a Chaos Hound made its way in here? No! Begone, foul beast. Oh, it's actually rather friendly. What a turn up for the +4s. Toodle pip.